Well, today's a little bit about history from me and a lot about what Mr. Chestnut did last week. And I had to do it all last week by myself. I blew up two cameras, and you know, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about some history about Fairmont today. Most of you don't know this, and I'm renowned for being, quote, the town historian, which is not really true, but I know a little bit more than the average person. Bulldog Avenue. Do you know where that is in Fairmont? Of course you don't. It's Center Street. If you're standing on Main Street where Angie Lovin has her fitness center, or where Fairmont Drugstore used to be, and you look straight toward the stoplight, that's Center Street. And it was called that because, as I understand it, from reliable sources older than myself, they used to have dog fights in some of the buildings down there. Might have been in some of the warehouses. I don't know where, but that's what they called it, Bulldog Avenue. Now it's Center Street, and we have a problem on that street. One of the reasons that we have the problem is the result of what Mr. Chestnut's going to talk to you about today. We got buildings that are falling down. We got buildings that used to be cleaners. We had three cleaners on that one street at one time, not at the same time, but Jake Shockett, very famous man, he had cleaners there. Mr. Tom Jones, he had a cleaners there, and the Stevens people had a cleaners there. And then in other parts of our town, we've had gas stations and industrial places. But what Mr. Chestnut did, and I'm gonna give him the stage in just a moment, he went out and worked hard on a grant and got us a grant. And if he doesn't say it, I'm going to. Very few people got this grant. And then he just came back from Chicago, where he's been on a conference in which Fairmont was highlighted. So, Mr. Chestnut, tell them about you. Don't tell them everything now. Please don't tell them some of that stuff that you did. But tell them a little bit about why you went to Chicago, and I want to. We're about promoting Fairmont, making Fairmont shine in the eyes of the people, and this is clearly one of those examples.
Most definitely. And Mr. Mayor, let me rewind the clock back a little bit. Back to August of 2022, when I started here. One of the first things I did when I started here was just drive to town to see what's here, and how we plot the path going forward. One of the things I immediately noticed was the abandonment of a lot of commercial properties, from one end of the town to the other. If they weren't abandoned warehouses, they were just flat concrete paths from where warehouses once stood, based on all the tobacco that this town once sold. We also had some vacant textile facilities. And like you was talking earlier, we had a lot of cleaners, we had a lot of funeral homes. So what I thought, based on my previous work that we partner with in Combs County, I said, why don't we go after a Brownsfield Grant to see what we can do to look at these spaces and get them redeveloped, because a lot of these spaces, as you know, are prime real estate for redevelopment. So us and the staff, we worked on a grant. We ended up receiving a $500,000 Brownsfield assessment grant. And fast forwarded a little bit, over the past year and a half, we have really gone through town and did a lot of work using those grant funds. Assessments, community interviews, community outreach, talking to multiple property owners about what used to be there, and what can we do to look at this land to get it redeveloped. One of the areas you talked about is Center Street. We've taken a detailed look at that. We've conducted phase twos on two former cleaners on that, in an old retail space. And one of our citizens has partnered with us to bring those spaces back to life.
Clean one of them up.
Yes, he's cleaned one of them up. Another citizens have donated their property to the town for our future use for redevelopment, but this type of work has gone on all across the town over the past really year and a half and 2 years.
Tell them about the, that 4 and the 22 and all that, how many towns and stuff.
Most definitely.
You need to tell them that, because we got a bunch of critics in this town. I'm not
Most
gonna name any
definitely.
names, I'm not gonna do that. I'm beyond that.
Most definitely.
But people wanna take shots at us, that's fine, but they need to also know the good things too.
Most definitely. So, oftentimes while I've been here, I've talked about our relationship and what we have done and gotten federal support, state support. When we were selected for this grant, we were one of 32 communities across the whole United States to get this funding to clean up our community.
How about that, folks?
Yes.
32.
And what that allows us to do is to clean our community, to assess it and clean it up from the ground up. So going forward, we will know the environmental status of all of these locations going across town to see what can be redeveloped, what can we partner with these property owners to do to bring these spaces back to life.
And because you're such a fantastic town manager and you're such a people person, they reached out from Chicago and invited you to this conference this past week, right?
Most definitely.
In which the town of Fairmont lost what, $2-3 million sending you there?
No, sir, at all.
I'm only joking,
yeah,
folks.
yeah.
Please don't get the torches and the pitchforks out.
One of the things that, for one, after the first invite to go to the conference, I was like, I got a lot of stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
And getting away is really hard. But talking to our environmental consultant company, Terracon, they were like, listen, Fairmont is being spotlighted during this conference. So on Wednesday, during the conference, I think the presentation was around noon, and Fairmont was shown on the big screen about all the work that we're doing here. That puts Fairmont on the national stage in front of hundreds of people that came, or thousands of people that went to that conference, and 100 or so in that room.
How about that, folks? The Mont,
yes.
the Mont,
That's
on
right.
in Chi-Town.
That's
on
right.
on the screen.
That's right. I had a chance of meeting one of our EPA representatives from Region 4, based out of Atlanta. She went to the presentation. She was excited to see that not only did we get this assessment grant, but a couple of years later to be focused and highlighted at a national conference. And this is a community of 2,200 people,
Right.
And to be at that level on that stage and see the spotlight of what ourselves, the staff, and the board approved receipt of this grant, how things work out for us, so.
Mr. Chestnut didn't know I was gonna do this, but on camera and on Google and to the world, he wasn't here Friday, he was up there partying in Chicago, but I am going to present him a certificate of appreciation for 3 years
Yes.
of outstanding service to the town of Fairmont. Mr. Chestnut,
Awesome.
I
I
was
really
giving it to
appreciate
you on
it.
Friday,
Yes.
but you weren't here, so I'm giving it to you today.
Awesome. I really appreciate that. And we talk often about the way things are going here. And I really love it here. I love serving our citizens. I love serving our board here. I really like what we got going on. And to consistently have these dollars come into the town of Fairmont for the future. I would like to leave our citizens with, no one is giving us this money with no hope for the future. That we are competitive on the federal, on the state, on the regional level in getting funds to help us move towards the future. If that doesn't tell the story, then you and I doing these videos is going to be a hard sell. Our citizens have got to see everyone else's buy-in, about how we're moving forward.
Our biggest problem, and we're gonna close out here, because I know you
Yes.
probably need to go cook some eggs or go mow a lawn or something. Our biggest problem with the citizens of Fairmont, North Carolina, and I stand by this, I refuse to be corrected, because I've seen everybody in this town, almost everybody, over a period of the last 79 years. impatience. Everybody in this town, and I'm the same way as Mr. Chestnut is, and our lady behind the camera is too. We want it right now.
That's right.
You don't show me a doctor in 5 minutes after they put me in the room. I'm mouthing things that you don't want to hear me say, and I've called people from the doctor's office in the waiting room. When's the doctor coming in here? We'll get him in there as soon as we can. We're all impatient.
That's right.
We get $500,000. They want something shown to them the next day. Doesn't work that way.
That's right.
Bear with us, folks. Let this man do his work. Let this man do. There's a step process that we have to follow. But you're going to see some changes on Center Street
Most
and in
definitely.
other places throughout the town.
Most definitely, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chestnut, I can't tell you enough how much we appreciate you, even those some that do not say it, and those who come out with it a different way. We appreciate all that you've done. I definitely appreciate the response that you've given to make Fairmont a better place. I've worked with you for 3 years, 5 days a week. I know what you've done. I don't care what anybody else says. I know what you've done. You're a quality man and a quality manager, and we're very proud of you. And thank you for putting Fairmont in the spotlight.
Most definitely proud to serve, Mr. Mayor.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon, folks.